Hi guys, it's Brookelynne and Lee Horton, and welcome to the channel. So if you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by. I upload videos twice a week on Tuesdays and on Fridays, and if you're a return subscriber, thank you so much for continued love and support of my channel. I'm really hoping you're enjoying my content. So today's video is going to be my weight loss video. So I lost weight around 4 years ago. I was kind of like, throughout my teens and 20s, it kind of fluctuated. My teens, I was like always kind of like a normal slim build up until I was around 15 when I started putting the weight on. So 14, I think, was around a size 68, like more around 68. Obviously at the age of 14, I was in between puberty, so it was between a girl's body and a woman's body. So it was still that stripping down figure, but it was starting to get some curves, but it was quite slim. And my figure back then, I loved it. Well, sometimes I still thought it looked a bit chubby, but it wasn't. I was like, if I get that figure back, I would love it. But it was literally like bit of curves, but still like stripping down, but like that kind of like good mix between being curvy and stripping down, even though both good. Like nobody shapes really bad, but for me, personal taste, I prefer that kind of, if I could choose, that in between stripping down and curvy, like just that nice kind of really smooth slim figure but have some curves. That's what I really want for my figure. So I had that, but obviously the rest of puberty took over, and it was a mixture between puberty and me just eating a little crap when I was a teenager. So 14, I think I've got pictures anyway. I'll show you what it looked like, but the pictures are quite bad quality. We're talking like 2006 time, so the camera quality on the phones bad compared to what they are now, so apologies. But it always had that rounded top of your face. Now it's more like a diamond shaped face, but obviously when I was younger it was like that rounder face, but it's because I was young, like really, really young, and you do tend to have more of a rounder face when you're younger if you have that type of face. But if you're not, you tend to have, well, any face shape you do, you tend to have that more rounder look to your face when you are younger, but as you get older it kind of goes a bit. So yes, at 15 I started to put weight on because I was being a bit of a pig and overeating sometimes, and being greedy of sweets and greedy with like snacky foods and stuff, and it was my own fault. I should have kind of kept like got control of that, and knowing when enough was enough. It wasn't bad, but it was eating more than what I should. Cause yeah, I'm not gonna get into too much of it because I don't want anyone to feel like, and even if you are, you can't be listening to like things about food and weight and all. I wouldn't recommend watching this video. I would just recommend clicking out. I should have said this at the start, but I didn't, and I apologise for that. But yeah, so between the ages of 15 and 18 I put on weight. So I went from, I would say it was probably at 14 around 7 stone, maybe lighter, 6.5, 7 stone. I think it was at 14, more closer to 7, but 15 it was around 7.5 going into 8. So from 15 until 18 I put on like over 3.5, like 3 stone or 3.5 stone, because I remember getting up to like 11 when I was 18, which is, I'm only 5'1.5", so I'm quite short, and I've got a short torso, so I need to be like around 7.5 stone. That's my ideal weight for me to look as smooth and as healthy and like just as proportionate as what I can look, and it's right for my body type and height and everything to be around like a lower weight. So obviously it did fluctuate between that time period too. I don't know why I'm coughing. So obviously it did fluctuate between that time period too. I remember losing some weight when I was 17, like the summer of like 2009. I remember losing some weight between that time from like April to August. I remember losing about half a stone, so I was more into like 10, 12, like 8, 10, 12. So the initial weekend I went from like an 8, like a 68 to a 12, but then we lost some around spring summer 2009. I went to about a 10 and I never got back down to an 8. It was around a 10, so I lost around probably half a stone, maybe up to a stone, probably more half a stone. So I was slimmer, but that was when I was 17 in 2009, and I don't know if I have any pictures of that. I might do, and if I do, I think I do have one with my hair, but I don't know, it shows much of my body, but if I do have any pictures like that, I will post them. And so I did look a good bit slimmer, and my face and all too, I did. But then when I went to school that year from 2009 to 2010, that's when I really put the weight on. So I think I might have been around, in 2009, I think I might have been around 9 stone probably at that point. Maybe 9, like, yeah, around 9 stone I would say. I'm not entirely sure, I didn't really weigh myself that much back then, so I'm guessing about that. But in the school year, 2009 to 2010, I remember putting on like a good bit of weight. So I think I put on over a stone and a half. So I remember going from like a 10 to like a 14, coming to 16. So by summer 2010, I was overweight. For my height, I was overweight, and I didn't look as good as I could. I just, in myself, I looked pudgy, and I'm not saying to be bad or to be disrespectful to anyone. I'm just saying that for my personal body type and for my personal tastes, like for myself, where I feel like I should be, I was overweight and those pudgy, so I didn't like the way I looked at feeling myself. I really, really did, and I just looked, you could just tell I was overweight, and I just didn't look right or healthy on me at all. So I spent, like, kind of fluctuated from that kind of August 2010 to August to December, kind of fluctuated, being like the 14 going into the 16. I was quite, I put pictures here to show you what it looked like, but I was quite pudgy, and it just didn't look right. It just really didn't look right on me. And yes, so after Christmas, like New Year's Eve, I remember being like, right, that's it, I don't like the way I look. I remember just feeling crap about myself throughout that whole time. I swear I don't have COVID, I don't know why I'm coughing, I think I've just got a dry mouth. But I remember throughout that whole time period, from the time I put the weight on, I just remember feeling so crap. I remember not feeling as good in my summer clothes and seeing every other girl wearing lovely like shorts and wee vest tops and all, and I wore the same thing. I just didn't look as right. I looked so chubby. The thing was, my legs didn't get that chubby because I have a short torso and long legs, but my thighs got chubby, but not chubby, but it did get chubby from the frame. But it was more that top section. If you can see there, I am quite short torsoed. Yeah, and I've got like long legs. So that's the body type, that's the way my body's built. When I was overweight, I was very kind of boxy around here, and I was wearing them summer clothes. I try to trick myself into thinking, oh, I don't look that bad, but pictures, no, I looked horrible. And I remember just feeling like pudgy and everything. I just didn't like it. And then seeing all the other girls who were really slim and everything and wearing all the summer clothes, and I was like, I wish I looked like them. I remember my 18th birthday, just looking back at pictures and just being like, I look dreadful. I just looked dreadful. I didn't feel happy in myself at all. I really, really didn't. And back in like October time, 2010, I remember joining a dance club for people who have disabilities. I remember a lot of the girls there were really, really slim built and like skinny to slim, and I was some of them were on the bigger side. Not like, I'm just saying the truth. Some of them were on the bigger side. So I wasn't the biggest one there, but I felt big compared to most of the girls who were there. Like, they were quite slim, skinny, gorgeous, and I just felt like the big fat lump in the group. And I apologise if I'm offended anyone in this video. If you do get offended, don't be like, just please don't take as I'm trying to offend you. I'm not meaning any harm. I'm just explaining how it was in my head. I'm not meaning any harm towards anyone, but if you do feel you couldn't watch this video, again, I just say just don't watch it. So, but I remember like some nice looking guys in the dance class. I have to laugh now, but there's some nice looking guys in the dance class. I remember like they were all dancing with the skinnier girls, and I maybe got one who was interested in me, but and like most of them were all after the skinny girls, and they were all having a laugh, and I felt like the outsider because I didn't fit in. I was trying to, but then they weren't taking much interest in me, and yeah, and then after just feeling so crap about myself that whole winter and going to Christmas parties and seeing like other girls wearing their wee slinky Christmas dresses, and I was stuck wearing like just not as nice of clothing, and I just felt like a blob compared to the rest of the girls are. And then New Year's Eve, I remember just feeling so low about myself. I was watching EastEnders and all and seeing all the skinny girls on TV, and I was like, you know what, I've had enough of the way I look. I was like, I've had enough of feeling fat, I've had enough of feeling overweight, I've had enough of feeling ugly. I remember I was off the back of having a rejection from a guy I really liked in school. We'll call him Stan. We'll call him Stan. And he had like, back then I really, like, he's still like a decent enough looking guy, but back then, because I went to the school for people who were visually impaired, so he had albinism, but he had like pure white hair, he had a really bubbly personality, and I fancied him loads because he had loads of confidence, and there was times like I wanted to date him, but then some other girl stole him off me. Back early that year, so I had that to deal with too. I had loads of drama from that school year, and then that summer after, like he kind of dropped me for someone else, and then he came out as gay. So, and I felt like it was all like my fault. So it came off the back of feeling like crap because I never had a boyfriend. Back in the day, it was like boyfriends everything when you're a teenager, and I was like, I don't have a boyfriend. I'm fat and ugly. I'm fed up. I'm going to do this to stop it. So I went on a crash diet. Now, don't do what I did the first time losing weight. Don't do it, because see, the crash diet, it did effectively get the weight off really quick, but it wasn't sustainable. I'm telling you, it was not sustainable. So I had cut myself down from, I don't know how many calories I was eating, but I don't know, I think well over what I should have been eating anyway. I cut it right down to like 600 to 800 calories a day. Please do not do this. Please don't do it. Please. I beg of you not to cut your calories down to that amount, because it is not healthy. Like, it is not healthy to cut your food right down to that amount, because it may get the weight off, but it's not sustainable. Just don't do it. But I would only allow myself, like, I think I only had like a yogurt for breakfast, like one of them kids' pot yogurts, and basically sometimes like once I started losing the weight, I would say to myself, I could just leave one spoonful in that pot and not touch it. Like, obviously I would eat the majority of it and leave one spoonful out of it, unhealthy. And then for lunch I would have had one of these, I remember having like 2 bits of rice bread and the wee cracker, two of them, because they were like under 20 calories, and having like a spread or something like that on top of it, or like cucumbers on top of it. That's all I'd have. Ribena with a bit of butter and margarine on top of it. That's all I would have for lunch. Unhealthy. Wouldn't recommend it. Or would have a cup of soup and one Ribena. Again, unhealthy. And or have one of them rice, like Muller rices I would have took to school, so didn't have to eat all the school dinner. Just you could have took your own packed lunch and would have took Ribena, and that's all would have had. Again, don't do it. And then if I wouldn't have anything snack wise to eat for the day, I would just drink tea, or would just drink like diluted juice, but I would limit that too. I would just drink water too, and then for dinner I would have just ate whatever mum and dad made me, but I would have like left some on my plate, or would have ate like a really low calorie dinner, like veggies with a bit of like meat. Well, back then I was eating meat, but now I don't eat meat. Pescatarian, but really good healthy, seriously, and I would just beat myself up if I had over my calorie line. So yeah, I'm very lucky I didn't develop a serious eating disorder out of that, because that could have been a serious eating disorder if I would have kept that up. Even though I hated to put that weight back on, but back in that time period, I went from January to April. I lost 3.5 stone in 3 months. So I went down from, I think by that point, I was maybe 10 stone 10, and I went down to about, I would say like 7 stone, so over 3.5 stone in 3 months. Don't do it. Don't do it. Maybe even some point I went under 7 stone. I went from a size 14 to like touching 16 to a size 6. Now, I did look really well. Well, I started to look a bit, well, I think I got to the point where I was starting to look a bit too skinny, but I still looked well, looked proportionate to my shape. I'll put pictures up here. But was I happy to do it? No. But I did get my results, but it wasn't sustainable. So I lost the weight, and then I got myself a boyfriend, and then kind of kept the weight off a little bit, like a month or so. So I lost all the way by April, the start of April, and then I kept it off until June. So with my boyfriend in late May, broke up with me, and in June I was like, I started eating normally the way I did before, like getting into that habit. But between them 2 months, I was starting to eat more and like getting into a more normal eating habit. I didn't put much, or if any, on, and I put on like probably about like less than half a stone between that time, but I was still like in that size 6 category. But by June I was starting to put the weight on, and then that's something I put it on again, because I was eating just back to the way I was before I lost the weight. So I put it on by December 2011. I was just back to the way I was the previous year, and miserable, and I think it did damage to my thyroid, or because I remember like a year later I got diagnosed with hyperthyroidism. I'm not sure about crashed that, did that, or I had that before. I'm kind of suspecting that I had it before, because I remember being in school even before then being tired, and I remember like when I was doing that crash that, like that's another reason why less crash that is not a good idea. I did not have any much energy at all. I remember like coming back from school, home from school, and going to sleep for like an hour, like sleeping and napping, because I didn't have that energy at all. Then when I got up I had some energy, but I remember just being tired all the time. And yeah, because obviously it was starving the body, so obviously I'm going to be tired. But it wasn't a good idea. Hey Horton, what are you doing? He's in my sleep. So when I put the weight back on, I was miserable, just back to the way I was before. And I tried like crash on it again, but obviously didn't have the same motivation, and I kind of went like, I lost half stone, put it back on, lost half stone, put it back on throughout the years. And then when I got diagnosed with underactive thyroid, no, not hyper, if I could speak, seriously love, hypothyroidism, underactive thyroid. When I got put on the medication for that, I did lose some weight, so I went from 14 to around, fitting into the 12s, and that was when I was 20, coming to 21, I was around at that time. And then obviously that summer, I looked slimmer than what I did the previous year. But obviously back winter, I put the weight back on, and then I was kind of like at that weight, like that 14, size 14. Sometimes with 14s are getting tight, I was fluctuating a bit in that weight range until 2015, when I took a stomach bug, and I couldn't eat for like 3 days, and I lost, I think, half some in water weight. And then I was like, do you know what, I'm going to do this crash out again. I did do a crash out again, but I was on it for like a few weeks and I lost I think another half stone, so I think it was into the 12s, coming into the 10s, I think it was, like coming into the 10s. Like I lost weight, but I was around 10 to 12, so it was around roughly similar to what it was in 2009, maybe a bit heavier, but it's between the size I was in 2009 and 2013, between that size. And I remember feeling great, but obviously I fell off the wagon and then quickly, because crash diets don't work. You have to be, it has to be sustainable. A lifestyle choice, that's what it takes. I put the weight back on as quickly as I lost it. So yeah, I'll put pictures on to include to show you what I look like. And 2015, I went just back to the way I was, again pictures, and it was like that until 2017. I remember being like, I think it was like April time, I was like, do you know what, right, I'm going to do my fitness pal and try to cut down a bit for my cruise, because I remember going on a wee holiday, a cruise with my ex. We went on one year before in 2016. I remember like feeling so miserable because I wasn't, like I didn't have the, like, I remember feeling so miserable because I didn't look the way I wanted to and I didn't feel great. So I remember saying, right, I'm going to, even if I lost half a stone, I'll be happy. And I did. I think I lost around between half a stone and £10. Yeah, it was £10, it was nearly a stone, so I lost that by the time the holiday came, but I still didn't lose enough where I felt great the whole holiday. And obviously 10 months came that holiday, and obviously holiday you tend to put a bit of weight on anyway, and when you're do your time month you are more like that, bloated. So, but I did lose some weight before the holiday and I felt great, but I would have liked to have lost more. And then after the holiday, I kind of maintained what I lost, but I kind of slightly put it on throughout that winter. It's like a trend here, like up until this point, I would lose weight in spring, summer, and put it on the winter. And then obviously got back to the way I was, and then by Christmas, and then obviously was fluctuating. In summer 2018 was 26, and then that summer I kind of put some weight on and it was down to like, or up to like the heavier scale of my kind of fluctuation. And then I was like, do you know what, I was getting to that point where it's getting into like almost a 16, and I was like, do you know what, I want to lose weight, I'm sick of feeling like this. It's been years since I've been feeling slim and healthy, so I just cut down. Now I done it a lot healthier this time. Instead of doing the crash diet, I done like a healthy lifestyle. I would have the 3 meals a day, but it would be 3 proper meals. So what I would have was like a yogurt and one of them like cereal bars, like the Alpen bars. Would have one of them with a yogurt and a cup of tea or coffee. Usually we 3-in-1 coffees for breakfast, and that was enough for me because I'm not a big eater anyway. Well, I haven't been since I lost weight. I've been like a small eater, but portion control, like, important for me to lose weight because I am quite a short person. So getting the right portion, which is not too much or not too little, that's the good balance. And then for lunch I would have like a salad. I remember like going to college, you know, what I had like a salad bowl, and obviously them salad bowls are quite big, so I would left some, but not just because I wasn't that hungry anymore. And I probably would have got a wee coffee, and I would have got a flavoured fizzy water such as a strawberry water that had no calories in it. So I would have had that with my salad, and that would have filled me up. And then I wouldn't have had any snacks unless I was really, really hungry. And then dinner I would have had vegetables with like some sort of meat, or like a soup with a proper soup, not a cup of soup. Would have had a proper soup, homemade one, with a rounded toast or no rounded toast, depending on how I felt. I would have treated myself at the weekends, but I wouldn't have went overboard. Like I would have, for a drink, I would have just had a wee gin and diet tonic instead of having like a wine or something like that. I would have just stuck to low calorie drinks. I did limit my fizzy drinks, so I would have just had the Diet Coke, and I would have had about 2 or 3 a week, whatever, when I felt like it, usually at the weekends. And I did that, and I did lose weight quite quickly. I did try to get some exercise, but mainly focused on my diet. I think I was walking to and from the shop in college, that's where I got the exercise, but I did do it more from a diet. And I did lose weight quite quickly, not as quickly as when I crashed at it, but it was quick enough where I could sustain it. So from late August or September 2018, that's when I started it. It was like, right, enough's enough. To I would say October, I'd lost nearly a stone. I think when I got to the December point and lost over a stone, so from then to like November, December time, I did lose a stone, over a stone, and I felt great. I felt good in my body. I felt the best I had in ages. I think I went from like a 14 to 16, like 14, 16 until about a 10. I think in October was more like a 12 then, 12 to 10, but then November was definitely a 10. So I went from then to then, and then the end of December I kind of went to the 8-10 range. I stayed that way until like February time, like February, March, and I started to kickstart the weight loss again. I didn't go back to the way I was eating before, but I kind of relaxed it a little bit in between that time, but I was still eating relatively healthy. And then around that March time, I was like, right, I want to get the last stone off, so I got the last bit of weight off, and I went from like an 8, like a 10 and an 8 to around a 6. So by I think May, yeah, like April, May 2019, I was like a size 6, well, a true 6 around May, June, but April, May was like 8, like 6 to 8, but in June I was a true size 6 and I lost a 3 stone in, I would say, 9 months, so not much healthier than 8 and 9 months, so they're much healthier than the 3 months when I crashed at it. So I don't know if I got down to as slim as what it was in 2011. I think I did at one point in like May, June time. It definitely was as slim as what it was in 2011, but done it in a much healthier way than back then. And I will put pictures up, and I was starting to kind of try to do some more exercise. But when I got down to my lowest point in June, I kind of maintained it. I did fluctuate, like throughout 2019, 2020, I did fluctuate quite a bit. Like, it'll go a few pounds over and then back again, like a few like pounds over and then back again. So it did kind of fluctuate, go to 68, it'll kind of fluctuate between that. But then lockdown, the first lockdown, I didn't put any weight on, but I think I felt tired before lockdown, like it was more like the higher end of that fluctuation. But then during lockdown I was like, you know what, I've worked so hard to get my body the way it is now. I'm gonna keep this weight off and do a bit of workout as well, incorporate more walking. That's what I did during lockdown. I went on walks every single day. I tried to do some home workouts a few times a week, and I kept that weight off. And I think around May time, like May, June time, I was definitely like that size 6, a smaller size of the scale. And I think I was like at around June, July too, but I think that summer 2020 when things were opening up, I did kind of put some weight on. Like I felt from July until like, I think it was February, March time, I felt like, or no, July until February, March, I felt like I put like half stone on. Because obviously I was relaxing with that, I was allowing myself one snack a day, but I think sometimes I'd go overboard. We're all human. And obviously because of not being able to go out during like lockdown, to meals out and all, me and my husband were taking advantage of eat out to help out. And that's what kind of relaxed it, but I was still trying to be good because I wasn't letting myself get back to the point that I was before I lost the weight. Obviously, like by that January time, like 2021, I felt like I did put that half stone on. So I was like, do you know what? Right, I need to get myself into a good regular exercise routine again. I still was doing it, but I was kind of fluctuating because it was Christmas, and obviously I was treating myself for Christmas. But I felt like I was getting like I was kind of not keeping myself in control is what I should have been. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna still allow myself to have that wee snack, but I'm exercising. I'm going to get myself into a consistent exercise. So I got myself a kettlebell and I would do these workouts on YouTube. I still do them. I remember doing the kettlebell in my room and all, and just swinging it around doing the workouts. I love the Kate Berry kettlebell workouts. She done them on her channel a few years ago. And if you're watching this, Kate Berry, I watched her videos and I did them exercises to keep myself in shape for my wedding, and I did work. I did gain some muscle, and I did get into like a decent enough wee shape for my wedding. Obviously I wish I would have got more muscle, but obviously it was lockdown. I did do walks almost every day when my husband ran on his run. I would have done a big walk and laps around Victoria Park. Listen to my iPad going woo, not my iPad, my phone. Not taking a big bulky iPad down the park, no way. Did bring my phone with my wee earphones, and I was like strutting myself down, walking down the park, and people thought I was a weirdo, but everyone else was doing it during lockdown. So, and I was loving it. I was listening to all the early 2000s dance songs, going woo, like that, walking, I'm strutting. I am weird, I really am weird. I was listening to all like the early 2000s like hip hop and R&B and all like the songs. I just love all the dance songs, old dance songs, like the ATB 9pm Till I Come. That song's amazing. Walking like that. And yeah, it worked, and I kept myself in a good shape for my wedding, and obviously I put pictures of my wedding day. Now I felt, because I did go under some stress, me and my husband went, because obviously weddings are stressful, and we went through a bit of an unnecessary amount of stress the month before our wedding. So I think because I was in a bit of an emotional roller coaster times, and obviously crying, so my face was quite puffy, and I felt like it was puffier, because obviously when you're under stress you tend to get more puffier, and my wedding day, luckily enough, it didn't look that much like that. I didn't look that puffy. I looked decent on my wedding day. Some pictures of which I could like edit a bit, but a lot of them looked decently well, thank the Lord. But for my honeymoon, I think obviously I relaxed completely. I did a couple of workouts when I was on honeymoon, but not loads. I should have done more. But on honeymoon, me and my husband were eating out every night, almost every night, having food in every single restaurant. We were like getting ice creams by the beach, and I put some weight on during my honeymoon. I think I put about half stone on during my honeymoon. So yeah, not good. But obviously like I felt heavier in that summer. I did feel heavier, like, because I felt like bloated. But around, I would say August, September, I started to kind of get myself back into a good shape, and I didn't fluctuate between that time. November I was in a decent shape, and then Christmas came along, and I had to kind of rein myself in, get myself into my lower, as lower as I could, like not, well, my lower type of weight. And then obviously I fluctuated throughout them years, and I will admit, I'm not at my slimmest I could be. I have put, I think, about a stone on since I got them slimmest in, like, since I'm slimmest in 2020. I have put on about a stone. Now, I do feel like I'm a bit heavier than when I was on my wedding day. I don't know, it could be the same, it could be just me thinking that, but I do feel like I'm not as, like, not like that. Not as, like, smooth as I was in 2019, 2020. I do want to get back to that, because I have been a bit too relaxed sometimes, like on and off throughout this past recent months, and I am working, I'm going to be working to get back to my size 6 self by summer, because I am going away on holiday, so I am. So I want to get myself back into a smooth body shape. I'm not sure when I'm going to post this video. It could be months down the line, it could be a few weeks, I don't know, but I want to get myself back into that 2019, 2020 slim, smooth self. This week. So yeah, my tips about weight loss is definitely, I would say, go to doctors and see what they say about it. And always check for doctors. That's a main tip. I didn't do that, unfortunately, but I did do a lot of research into diet and what would work for me, and I knew what works for me and what works for my body type. I did what that recommended, and healthily I tried to get as much like fruit and veg as I could within the portions. I took vitamins, I still do that, and I got myself just a good routine and a good like healthy lifestyle. It has to be a lifestyle. If you want this to last, this weight loss to last, it has to be a lifestyle change. It can't be a fad diet. Fad diets don't work long term. That'll just get you in the trap of yo-yo dieting, which I was in. So just don't do a fad diet. Do one that's sustainable. Do one that's going to last you a good lifetime. You can stick to it, adapt to it if you need to. That's the best goal for weight loss, definitely. So yeah, it's getting dark in here. But that's what I would say for like tips and stuff. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again for the next one. Stay gorgeous. God bless. Bye.